And now it is time for the canned coffee of the week. Thank you. Okay, this week's canned coffee of the week is Coke with coffee.
So I had back in the aughts.
It was
I remember
aughts.
we were in college and we went down to whatever that grocery store was.
It was Country Mart, I think.
Country Mart.
Is it still a Country Mart? I'm not sure.
Know. And I got a Coke Black. That was back then their attempt at Coke mixed with coffee. And I was so excited and so disappointed.
I was not into Coke as much
I wasn't into Coke.
I wasn't into coffee as much then. So this
I don't remember if that was after I started working at a coffee shop.
This is probably different than Coke with coffee.
But that one was very much, here's some Coke, here's some coffee. We put it in a can together, but the flavors did not blend at all.
So this Coke with coffee is great Coca-Cola taste blended with rich, luxurious coffee.
Luxurious?
Luxurious. That's the word, the luxurious.
Coca-Cola, and mine is caramel. So Coca-Cola with coffee caramel flavored with other natural flavors.
All right. So we have no idea how it tastes like. Are there any
instructions on this one?
There's no instructions, which is really good.
I'm going to always read my can. Oh, no. Sip and scan.
Sip and scan. Can you actually scan it? Do I have to?
I can lick it.
I don't. Okay.
Did you actually just lick it?
Yes, I did.
I didn't wash these, dude. You just touched some delivery man's hand with your tongue.
It probably like iced over.
Hey.
All right. For
Do we do it at the same time or separate?
Separate. Okay. If I can get it. Okay, ready? You do it first. Okay.
Smells like coffee.
Ooh, okay. Little coffee.
Bit of Coke. Do you know what this smells like?
It's very, very strong. What does it smell like? Smell like?
To preface this, my parents used to work as janitors at a church that would rent out their fellowship hall to different groups to use. Friday nights, AAs.
Okay.
This is how I know anything about AAs. That they met every Friday night at this church that my parents cleaned, so we would go in and clean up after. Coke and coffee. And cigarettes too, but I mean, thankfully this doesn't smell like cigarettes.
So,
and not Coke. Coca-Cola Coke.
It's odd. It is very odd.
The caramel is more prevalent than the coffee. The coffee blends.
I see it. It blends well, but the vanilla pops out a little more because Coke goes with vanilla. But it's just like, I don't know if they go well together, though.
Is that the caramel making it taste cinnamony?
Maybe. I'm
wondering if the flavor is what helps blend the coffee.
Probably.
Nope. Give me my caramel.
I actually like that one better.
Mine?
Yeah.
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 I love vanilla, and I did not love that. No, I do like it.
Yeah.
I do like it.
It's just I would not try it again.
Yeah, it's not something I'd be like, oh man, I could really go for a Coke with coffee.
Look, I can either go for a Coke and a coffee, not both.
Although, considering my experiment last week, I now kind of want to chill some coffee and mix it with my Pepsi and see how that tastes. Okay, if you recall, last week we had oatmeal latte nitros or something. I don't remember.
Yes.
But they were oatmeal lattes. And I was like, ooh, I should try making oatmeal with coffee. I did that. It tastes exactly like the coffee that we drank. And it works. It really does. So I highly recommend making oatmeal and replacing half the water with coffee.
It does work.
It's actually really good.
Now, again, you were mentioning like your other things, but I also worked in this food service industry, and that's also a common smell. Basically, when you have to dump your dishes in the back, like we basically have like a little cart in the back that you take them in, and you'll dump it in this big bin. So it's basically this bin you had like dump at the end of the night. But
so it's just filled with
coffee and
soda.
Made coffee.
Make your coffee.
Make your coffee.
So make your coffee and then
save your grounds for compost.
But it's the liquid. So when you make oatmeal, you make it with water. I mean, you can do a full coffee if you want.
Yeah.
But I did half water. Like the measurement for the water, half of it was water, half of it was fresh coffee.
Oh.
It was so good. I didn't expect it to be bad, but I didn't expect it to be so good. I'm like, I'm not opposed. I might make oatmeal with coffee again. I might make it with full coffee. And
I might have to investigate a little bit more oat milk for coffee because, sometimes milk does make me a little bit upset.
You have to double check it. And it's going to be expensive. We have to double check it. But it is gluten-free, so.
Yeah.
And it's not nuts. But, I mean, no, oat milk is definitely... We could also Google how to make our own oat milk.
How do you milk the oats?
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
But this is actually... Yeah, this is not something I'd be like, oh, I want this.
Yeah.
But this is actually really good. Like, if this were the only thing sitting there, if it was this...
Or another thing.
I thought you had something. If it's this or a Starbucks.
You'd probably go for this.
I would go for this.
Probably go for this.
Even that Starbucks Nitro that we had a couple weeks ago. This versus that, I would probably go for this.
I
didn't hate that, but I would go for this.
I'm going to heavily disagree with you because I did like the Nitro a lot more than I do this.
I would actually be torn on that one, to be honest.
It's a little more... This is not... I think the brightness of Coke and the smoothness of coffee doesn't really mesh so well for me.
But it really works a lot better than Coke Black did because that was just a completely separate flavor.
Yeah.
Did this taste cinnamony to you?
I didn't taste a little bit of the cinnamon.
Taste it again.
Okay.
I'm wondering if caramel just tastes like cinnamon to me. Something's wrong with my taste buds.
No.
It's there. There's a hint, right? There's
Yeah.
just like just for a second, like a hint of cinnamon.
And
it might just be how the caramel blends with the Coke.
I am not the biggest fan of it. I'll drink it. It's drinkable, but it's not like great.
Okay.
I'm
you know
not
how
impressed.
people heat Coke up?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how this would taste heated.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
awful.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You don't want to heat this up.
But see, I do like Pepsi. I prefer Pepsi over Coke, so I'd be curious to see what the difference is.
And I kind of like the Coke taste, but I'm not like, yeah. So I would honestly give this a 3.
Yeah, we're rating.
As far as ratings go, I give the Coca-Cola with coffee vanilla flavor a solid 3.
I'm gonna give Coke with coffee caramel. I should say that part. Caramel Coca-Cola with coffee a 4.
This
my
is your
highest rating yet.
This is your highest rating
because I don't hate it. If this were sitting there as an option, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take one.
I'm glad
now that one I would rate lower. I would rate that a 3.
I'm thinking we are just really polarized when it comes to canned coffee. Though.
We are. But
we are polarized. Oh, sorry.
I know. Here's the thing. I don't actually know. I've referred to use. Okay, when guys eat anything, guys eat like dogs, right? That's how we make those jokes. Your coffee taste is kind of that level. You are particular. There are coffees that you would rather not drink, but you don't have a particular coffee you tend to prefer.
I'm not. So you could just say I'm not discerning as you.
You're not. Okay. My sister gets into this argument with me. She's like, stop acting like you're special. I'm like, excuse me. I happen to have a preference, but so does she. She likes South American coffees. I hate South American coffees. I like African coffees. She hates African coffees. So basically, when one of us will get a coffee and be like, oh, this is gross, we'll hand it to the other one. They're like, this is really good. So we realized, like, you can tell by whether or not we like it or not, whether it's South American. I mean, if we don't already know whether it's South American or African. Now, there's also like Hawaiian. There are some others that I just haven't had a lot.
I remember like having a pea berry French press.
Pea berry.
I did like that one a little bit.
I hate pea berry, but pea berry is a whole different thing.
Top good.
But I specifically, I would say my favorite coffee is a good Kenyan coffee. I had a friend bring me a bag from Kenya one time. It was just like a grocery store coffee, but this with coffee that was grown in Kenya. It was so good. It's just like smooth and the perfect. I like a good, perfect medium coffee.
Yeah. And also
we didn't analyze the can.
The can. Oh yeah, can analyze.
I mean, it's basically it fits for the Coke brand. It makes sense.
It's very much. You look at this and it's like, this is Coke.
It's hard to tell, but it's like stippled a little bit.
They go with their. I would say they kind of go with the more of a. Their.
I like the coffee bean design.
I think it was like what do you call this era of Coke? Like the kind of like this 1950s, you might say.
It feels maybe a little 50s, 60s.
50s. I mean, there's they decided to opt with no serifs.
But no,
and no
you do realize what this is representing, right?
What?
The bubbles, and then it goes from the base Coke color.
Oh,
it's the base Coke color, and then it's stippled to represent kind of the bubbles, and then at the top it's brown. So it's
see.
The Coke, the coffee, and the carbonation.
That gets a 0.1.
And then here you get the color of
I'm raising my score to a 3.1 for that reason.
Well, then I'll give it a 4.2.
Oh!
Because, I mean, that really... I'm making an assumption about the design, but that really seems very obvious to me that's the intention.
So basically,
because you've got your base Coke, your coffee, and your carbonation.
We don't just rate on taste, we rate on, like, how it looks, too. So that is the major thing.
Because, I mean, to me, it's telling a pictorial story with that.
Yeah.
Now, if they'd used Starbucks brand coffee in it, I bet you they could have made the coffee green.
They would.
Because I was just looking at them like thinking, that looked really good standing out as green.
I wouldn't say so. I will disagree with that one. I think basically...
Well, this is me saying that with a red can, and I typically hate red and green designs that aren't Christmas.
I think Coke has this... They have their color palette. If they put green in it, it will probably like...
But if they were doing a partnership with Starbucks...
If they would, maybe. But that would probably like, ruin their entire color palette that they got going on.
It would be Christmas.
Yeah, it's got like a... Coke has a very specific color palette. Like,
well,
it has
their
its
brand.
golds, reds, and its other things. So, anyways, good coffee. Also, we wanted to...
I didn't hate it.
I won't drink it again.